The focus of attention on D-Day, the 6th of June 1944, is necessarily the beaches of Normandy in northern France. But as the Allied commander recognised, without the ports of southern England, the operation could never have succeeded. The only ports with the capacity to handle the men and material were further along the coast in the county of Hampshire, which was at the heart of Operation Overlord. It was Southwark House, just north of Portsmouth, that the decision was taken to launch D-Day, and most troops left from the nearby port of Southampton. The actual build-up began in the spring of 1942, and the Southwestern Hotel became HQ of the Combined Operations and Movement Control, with the designation HMS Shrapnel. The D-Day marshalling areas were often situated in woods. These became known as sausage camps because they were indicated on some maps by sausage-shaped blobs. Eyewitnesses refer to the whole area being a huge armed camp with rows of tanks and other vehicles parked along roadsides. Camps C-18, C-19, C-20 and C-21 were on Southampton Common, north of the boating lake. These 4 camps had a total capacity of 8,500 men and 1,000 vehicles. Camp C-10 at Stoneham had a capacity of 1,000 men and 145 vehicles. The camp was located in woods at Grassy Covert, north of Bassett Green Road. Part of the area can be seen today from public roads. Camp C1 at Harefield had a capacity of 1,500 men and 210 vehicles. The camp was located to the west of the A27 at Cairns Hill. Camp C2 at Moorhill had a space for 2,500 men and 360 vehicles. Camp C24 at Chilworth had a capacity of 1,500 men and 215 vehicles. The camp was located in Buxley Wood. Camp C22 at Toot Hill had a capacity of 2,000 men and 285 vehicles. Camps C16 and C17 were also nearby, located in the eastern section of Nightingale Wood. They had a total capacity of 3,250 men and 465 vehicles. Camp C3 at Netley Hill had a capacity of 2,500 men and 360 vehicles. Camp C1 and C2 were also nearby, but the site of these camps has since been built on and is now under housing. Camp C11 at Bassett was the headquarters of Marshalling Area C. It was one of a group of troop camps immediately north of Southampton. The site of the camp was north of Violet Road and is now under housing as well as a school. On the outskirts of Southampton was the shore-based HMS Cricket in Bursledon on the River Hamble, the secret training base for the flotilla of landing craft taking men, tanks and supplies across the channel from Warsash and Hamble. It was commissioned on the 15th of July 1943. Initially it was a Royal Marine landing craft crew training base, but was later used to assemble troops and landing craft in the build-up to D-Day. It is now a country park. At the end of May 1944 the camps were sealed, meaning that the troops inside were not allowed to leave. This was a step to minimise the risk that enemy spies or the British public might realise that D-Day was drawing very near. From the 31st of May onwards, and according to a highly detailed timetable, troops began to make their way down to the coast and embark onto the ships and landing craft that would take them to Normandy. Once the troops landing on D-Day itself had left the camps, forces who would be landing on subsequent days took their place, forming a steady stream moving down towards the south coast. From declassified files it is also possible to follow individual units as they left their marshalling areas. For example, the 9th Battalion Durham Light Infantry were camped in Nightingale Woods, not far from Broadlands near Romsey, the home of Lord Mountbatten. At 10 a.m. on the 3rd of June they moved to the King George V dry dock in Southampton, where they were loaded onto landing craft before moving down the Solent at 2000 hours. They were disembarked at codename King Beach, where they were expected to wade through 5 feet of water with full kit before reaching the beach. The 86th Hertfordshire Yeomanry Field Regiment were also based at a camp near Romsey. They reported bad weather on the night of the 5th and 6th of June, with the liaison officer capsizing and a Royal Marine Armoured Support Regiment forced back to Southampton water by a half gale. On Saturday the 3rd of June, the 6th Canadian Armoured Regiment, the 1st Hussars, proceeded to Southampton docks from Stokes Bay, Gosport. When they arrived, the men were marched down to the Naffy, where some saw a show while others wrote letters or rested. The 1st Battalion Dorsetshire Regiment left Southampton on the landing craft called Empire Spearhead. Final briefing was postponed because of bad weather. Once ashore, B Company achieved their objective but suffered considerable casualties from shell, mortar and machine gun fire. The 2nd Battalion Essex Regiment were camped near Beaulieu in the New Forest. Beaulieu means beautiful view, and the original abbey was started by an order of French monks. They were given a thorough briefing before embarkation with large-scale models, maps and photos. Early morning PT made sure all ranks were fighting fit and fit to fight. They embarked at Lymington before moving along the coast to Southampton, where the incredible number of craft of all sorts and sizes, with the large flights of aircraft, was a most inspiring spectacle. On D-Day, the battalion landed east of Le Hamel without any casualties. On D-Day, the largest fleet ever assembled landed 156,000 troops on 5 beaches on the first day alone. After their defeat in Normandy, the Axis forces in Western Europe were so reduced that the Allied armies advanced to capture Paris by the 22nd of August and Brussels by the 1st of September. Although D-Day was not the end of the war, it represented the beginning of the end.